Oh, so this is amazing. I think I've had a breakthrough, and I was finally able to get some of this script stuff working over here. Um, the Here, I'll just take off this so you can see the real version of this. So I finally just did some stuff with the parameters. I've taken a tree, I put it into a class now. So then I've split up the make function so that the grow function is on its own and you can grow it for a certain amount of steps at a time. And I've started to set up the DNA and use that class to store parameter values. And DNA class will have serialization and stuff like that. The point is that I can control these different pieces of the DNA, which control curves over time calculated by these functions. So right now I'm not actually like evolving this, but it is growing from my instructions. So these are the growth instructions, along with there's another one up here. I'm still trying to make sure that I can get parameters properly set up inside of their inside of like each slice. So for instance, each slice, it needs to have a parameter that's created for it every time. So yeah, anyway though, back over to here. I just wanted to do a little bit of exploring on this model. You can see that we've got these like tops. You can see it better in edit mode. And you've got these tops that like sort of come off and they form these leaves clustered around the main tip. So these are like these other tips that are overlaid over each other. So it's not technically like, I mean, it's kind of bunched up right now. And I mean, it wouldn't be realistic that there would be a whole bunch of collisions going on between all of these cells, I guess. But they technically they can't check for nearest neighbors for real. They can only check for neighbors that are connected to them. So anyway though, we can look down here to the root branch, and I've set it up to use this specific frequency and then there's like another frequency along this axis, and so on and so forth, that they're set to grow at. So basically what I've done is change the growth rates, like I said in the last video. But the biggest, most important thing is that since that last video, I've cleaned up the code a lot. So anyway, though, that's the progress that it's made. And so I've never made like a flower class or anything along those lines. Or even a leaf class. I've literally only just made the ability to change parameters over either time, or for instance, the slices have parameters that change when they're laying down this circle. So these circle of cells, the way that they are actually set up, they eventually just keep growing or whatever. There's ease in the cells now, which is now parameterized. That's pretty nice. Anyway, I'm gonna save this one, but like I already have that saved. So I just wanted to run this again real quick, and let's just change the age. To do 40 years in one go is kind of a lot. Let's see what it looks like 20 years. Okay. Or, well, these aren't really years, they're just age steps. So let me just smooth this real quick. I like the subdivision surface for smoothing just because it lets me see the shape a little bit better. I haven't really gotten the material stuff down yet, so that's going to be coming. This is like a totally weird situation, eh? I mean, some of the branching stuff is still set to random, so yeah. Yeah, quite a few things are set to random on this. So if I were to change like the random seed or change any of the parameters basically that are random, like change the number of random parameters, then it will end up with a completely different look. But I kind of like how this thing is evolving. Like let's see it at its youngest years, or youngest. I don't know why I call them years. These are growth steps. They're like I said before. Oh wait, that was on 20. So let's see what happens when it's 1. So just like all of the plants, when it's 1, it's pretty. There's kind of nothing going on. But you see, it already lays it down in that pattern because of the parameterization of that. And if we look at the top here, you can see that it's a circle, right? But the growth rate was different. So the growth rate was you can see there was some changes in, I think, the ease over that time too. So that's why it's like sort of off a little bit, because the sine wave has a different frequency that's going through these parameters on ease, but the growth rate has another frequency. Anyway, so that's at 1 step. Let's step it out to like 4 steps. Okay, substantially bigger. And it's definitely growing like a little. Since I don't need, it's only 192 cells at this point, and there's only 1 tip still. But in high definition, that's what this plant model would look like. It looks like it sort of keeps going with this whole thing. On this dimension, I'm using spikes, the spike function. On the growth dimension. But anyway, and also this is like growing towards, it's always being pulled towards the light, or the light direction or whatever. So let's go ahead and let's just do 10 times steps, since that's half the age of what it was before, and see the difference. Yeah, it always grows like this one that's a little bit more heavy. I would have it go. Yeah, man, that thing's cool. It's such a weird looking thing, but eventually those like open up and then they, just like on these other ones over here, how they crunch down. If you make them stop, like if you make the tip stop growing, the cells will eventually like sort of crunch up there. If it gets small enough, the distance between them. So if that changes, or if these open up enough, then because like these will all completely still just keep growing in that direction, right? So anyway, that's the 10-year, or the 10 steps old one. Let's see it at 15 steps. And Okay. Yeah, we're starting to get that like flowery format going on here. And you see these things have like become more they've fanned out more. So this is going to be like really cool to visualize in real time. Oh, okay, these are like, I think this is the growing stem or the growing tip, or yeah, that's the growing tip, and this one came out of it and just immediately started like growing a much wider one in the middle. It's kind of, yeah, wow, okay. I do love cellular automata. Okay, delete, and let's do 17. Yeah, it really starts like pushing out those flowery moments, like these roughly looking things that show up. And how many cells is it? 4,032 cells. I'm not sure about Decentraland, so like in Decentraland I'm not sure how old these trees could grow if you planted them there. But I mean, they're not the most beautiful trees until they get to a certain age, right? Because they're kind of just weird looking. Like they have that whole thing going on. And the one thing that I really need to do just to get to this final part of the video is get these parameters to be now, again, themselves parameterized. And that will be the parameter search space that we're using parameters to search through. Because we have that handy little next function in the parameters, and then they have these handy little functions to do the next thing. Anyway, though, that's that. Let's see if it doesn't crash my video. Trying to get this out to 50 years old or 50 steps old. I don't know why I keep saying years. Okay, save and save. Okie doke. It's running. It's running. I got the showing all the vertices or the vectors right now, and then it's going to show all of the other debug output because I still have it showing debug output right now. I'm also going to be editing or updating the GitHub with the new stuff, with this new tree as like the main thing that's loaded into the scene. Oh man, I hope this doesn't crash my computer. It's aging 50 steps in one go. Like normally one age step gets done per period of time, because if you think about it, the age steps are kind of like, I don't know, kind of long steps. They've got, oh, there we go, okay. Oh, this is going to be weird looking. I hope, yeah, okay, let's see. Oh, 1.16 million cells and 3,586 tips. That is a plant and a half, baby. She is beautiful. Just really looks like a good model of a plant. Like it looks nice and full. You can't even see through it. If this thing actually had to use, okay, so that's the thing. If this thing actually had, that's so crazy. All right, but yeah, like I was trying to say, if this thing actually had like a, man, if it had energy requirements, which we're going to be doing here soon in one of these upcoming videos, or I'm going to be showcasing it. Yeah, but if it did have energy requirements, then it would be really proper. Like, you would see some things grow faster than others, some cells grow faster than others, stuff like that. Like, and I really want to keep it on this whole note. Like, I don't want to differentiate between anything else besides like shoots and roots, because if you really think about it, the leaf is just the tip of a shoot that has differentiated so that the tip becomes a leaf to get light, to get more light, because it found that using, like, evolution proved that using a flattened tip, a whole bunch of flattened tips that don't even branch off or whatever, but they do have an internal structure where they do branch inside the leaf. So, I mean, this is not the exact same thing, right? But it could lead to the same thing given the right evolutionary, or given the right environment for evolutionary input. So anyway, I mean, damn, this one is like a poster child of this algorithm. I mean, look at that. That is beautiful. I'm gonna have to put that on the GrowF GitHub page. Yep, it's going up. Okay, so let me know what you think, guys. I know that nobody's like watching these videos just yet, but hey, I want to have these down so that I can, have a good record of this journey through making virtual life that grows in virtual reality, that you can plant anywhere, and that can exist, that can be minted as an NFT, so that the DNA of the plant, like, you can take it as a seed and give it to somebody, and then in different games that use this protocol, you can plant your plant. Now that games are becoming more and more like, I don't want to say metaverse, because the Facebook stuff that's going on right now, but basically games are just becoming more and more like static actual places where when you change things, they change for everybody and everybody can access them. And I just want you to notice something about this. Okay, so this isn't actually growing towards the light that you're seeing in this. You can't see the lights, but the direction of light that you're seeing here, it's just growing in that direction the tips are. But just based off of the simple fact that tips have that photo location, you can kind of see that all of the tips have moved. Like, there are some tips over here on this side, but the ones that you can really, really see have moved over to the other side of the plant. And they just like kept growing all crazy